I do. I do know which is which.
Tastes good. Too good to taste.
Too good. Tastes too good. Hooray! Coffee. We love you. Woo! Coffee. All right, cheer for coffee. So good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. We love you, coffee. Woo! Yeah. All that.
All that and a box of rocks.
Whoa, why? Why a box of rocks?
You have a box of rocks in our hole.
You're right about that.
Are we returning that?
I need to. Oh, it's so heavy. You do it. Okay, Shelly.
It's so heavy.
It is so heavy. Too heavy.
What am I walking over to Whole Foods with your box of rocks?
No, I mean, I'll do it.
Yeah, how about this? I'll carry it. And you can explain to them why you want to return it.
I don't have to do that. You just put a label on it and they take it back. You don't have to do that.
I'll carry it over for you then.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Usually people are talking to them, though.
Oh, no, you don't have to explain to them. If you pre-do it in the app, all you have to do is slap a label on it and they take it right away. They just scan it and you're good.
Okay.
It's true. Hey, Nah.
Here's my box of rocks. Don't judge me.
Here's my box of rocks. Don't judge me. Here's my box of rocks. Don't judge me. Stop judging me for having a box of rocks. Nobody wants to work, Shelly. Nobody. We have a very busy day ahead. Very busy. So many busies. All the busies. What's everyone doing today? Anyone doing anything interesting today that they want to tell us about? We'd love to hear it. What are you doing today? I mean, I guess that's interesting, yeah. Beans. Why does he lie? Here's my box of rocks. I'm so sorry. You're going to a party? That's way more interesting. Can we please talk about how Jen got Bachelor? Oh my gosh, yeah, we can talk about how. Okay, so here's the thing that you have to know, Rome. I don't know if you listen to any of the podcasts. I know that you're an avid watcher, but I don't know if you're a podcast listener. But from all the podcasts I've listened to, it has become, we've become aware that both Daisy and Maria turned Bachelorette down. So they were just like going down the line. You know what I mean? So, right, exactly. So are we like a little wompity womp on Jen? Yeah, but like what else are we going to do? You know what I mean? Like who else is it going to be? Sort of, you can't. Thank you. So that you love them. That's not true. Kelsey was lovable. She was my pick from the beginning. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Oh, we love Joey. Joey was lovable. Yeah, we're starting the shutdown of production at my work, so it's a bit intense today. Ooh, that sounds terrible. Shutdown of a production. Oh, God, that sounds scary. Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Joey was, like, ratings gold, basically, so I don't know what's going to go on with Jen. Here's the great things about Jen. The great thing about Jen is at least she has personality, because to me, Daisy was a dud. Sorry. Like, you know, she was just so boring to me. So at least Jen's a little bit exciting. I'm going to give her props for having a personality. And then also, like, you know, no, I mean, cochlear implants are interesting, and that whole part of her, like, the fact that she's overcome all those things is interesting, but that doesn't give her personality, you know what I mean? Like, you have to have something to you more than, what? But anyway, that's not even the point. The point is, Daisy did not have personality, and you have to have personality to lead the show, otherwise it's boring. And we can't have boring because then we, you know, don't pay. Like, this was one of the first seasons. Oh. No, they don't ever do that, but I think you're right, Rome. I think Lexi would have been a really interesting choice, actually. That would have been a really cool, different season. I was talking to Secret Fiance about that, and he was like, what, are they just going to find a bunch of guys that want to have kids right away? I was like, yeah, single dads who want more kids, right? Like, no, I'm being serious. Single dads who are like, I'd like my child to have siblings, they're ready right now. That's a great group of guys. I don't know. I think it works.
I think it's hilarious.
I think so, too. We're going to smoothie dance early.
Season, instead of a final proposal, it's a final thing where he just gets her preggers on.
Dave, please, we're on TikTok. Stop it! Don't be ridiculous.
No, think about it.
No, stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! You've been banned. You're no longer allowed in book club. Daisy walking away, how she did was emotional, but so. You know what?
Daisy is an actress.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think what she did to Kelsey wasn't right. And that is something that's been, like, I thought I was going to be the only one that was thinking that. I was like, oh man, it's going to be my unpopular opinion of this season that I think what she did was selfish. And then I went and listened to the podcast, and a bunch of people were like, I'm hemming and hawing over whether I'm okay with what she did, because she really did steal Kelsey's thunder and made it about her rather than them. And that's unfair. And I was like, oh, other people do think this. And then Kelsey went on a podcast and said the same thing. She said that day, she was like, I love Daisy, but it did feel a little hinky in the moment, because she was like, oh man, like, what do I do with this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, she was confident in herself, and she knew it was going to be her, and she knew that, like, it was dampering her engagement day by having to deal with this instead. And it's like, that really blows.
Christmas tree hoe is her name.
Whoa, babe, please. Contain yourself. You know,
One more time with feeling love.
Okay. Huh.
That the bachelor should lie better to them so that they both think that they're going to get. Otherwise, that happens.
I guess.
He was too honest.
What's the problem, Misfit Slime? You're having trouble with your slime? What slime is it? What slime are you having struggles with? Actually, there are no videos that can be added to the slime help chat. I wish we could, but it only allows photos right now, which really stinks. I wish it allowed videos. That would be... Is it a jelly that I made? Oh, you were trying to make the jelly from last night. You know what? Just send me a DM and we'll do it. I think we need a Bachelor in Paradise with a group of... I agree. Bachelor in Paradise this year would have been bop. It would have been amazing. I know. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. They're too busy following old people.
But they need a Bachelor in Paradise this year. I agree wholeheartedly. What part are you at that you're struggling with, Misfit? Oh, is it? I've heard a lot of people, like a lot of my friends have been going to that. You like it, Noah? A lot of people I know have gone to that recently. I think Shelly went to that. Shelly, did you go to that? It's okay, Cindy. We started a new book today anyway. Or we are starting a new book today, not. We're starting Paris Hilton, the Memoir, today. Memoir. It's true. Oh, okay, so then if Shelly's going tonight, it must be other people that I knew that went previous nights, because a lot of people were posting it. Yes, Liz, we did. We did yesterday, and everyone said that they agreed that Paris was a good choice, especially because it's research for my book. They're actively changing during previews and has gotten significantly better is what I hear. That's what previews are for, so I support that. You know, you're supposed to do that. People who don't do that are wasting their preview time.
Preview
Yeah, previews are right before a show opens. It's about 2.5 to 3 weeks usually. Sometimes, what?
You change stuff, right?
Yeah, you can. You can change stuff. I don't know, Rome. They haven't said why, but I'm mad either way. Yeah, a lot of shows waste those 3 weeks. You should be using those 3 weeks to see what your audience does and doesn't react to and alter course. That's the whole point of previews.
Change course. Ah.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, so the last book was a little too beep boopy for TikTok. So we are changing course and we are going to read Paris, the Memoir, for multiple reasons. First of all, a lot of people were actually interested in hearing her side of a lot of stories. But second of all, I'm actually using some of the stuff in here as research for a section in my upcoming book because some of it is centered around some of the things that take place in... I can't explain it without giving away what the book is, so I'm just going to say there's some stuff in here that will be useful for me to refresh my memory on. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, that's what we are going to do. No, that was never planned to be the second one, Becca. I'll get to that eventually probably, but I don't have it all fleshed out in my head. It was just something I set up in case I wanted to do it. I am not writing a book based on The Simple Life, no. But The Simple Life will probably be mentioned in the book. It will probably be referenced, yes. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun book. I think it's a clever book. Hey, hun?
Yeah?
Do you think my new book is a clever premise?
Do I think your new book is a clever premise? I don't understand. Is this a question from the voice or?
No, from me.
Oh.
I was saying I think my new book is pretty clever, and I was asking if you thought it was a clever premise.
I think it's a very fun / clever premise that allows for many opportunities.
And it's totally different than Prince of Oregon.
Yeah, wildly different in almost every way.
Yeah.
Except, well, it's wildly different in every way.
Yeah. It's totally different.
And it's very, very sci-fi, which is wild. She's writing basically.
I guess it is sci-fi in its own way.
Sci-fi.
I don't know if I call it hardcore sci-fi.
Hardcore.
It has sci-fi elements.
Hard sci-fi is what she's writing.
Oh, really, Liz? What is it?
It's basically Sasha's version of Dune.
It's not my version of Dune. There is a sci-fi element in my new book. That is true.
Sure.
But it's not primarily sci-fi.
It's mostly sci-fi. She doesn't like admitting it because she hates sci-fi.
But mine will be funny.
Sci-fi can be funny. Sci-fi can be anything you want it to be.
Okay, well, mine's going to be funny.
It's the king of genres.
It's the king of genres. Get out of here. You go.
It is.
You're banned from book club for
What are you
saying that.
talking about? It is.
Sci-fi is the only one that I
Just
don't
because
read regularly.
You're a monster.
I've read sci-fi.
Monster.
He's pointing at me right now. Monster. Like that. For those of you who can't see him, which is everyone but me. Okay, well, I'm going to read Paris Hilton's memoir. And why are you being creepy?
What? I'm sitting here watching you.
Why are you holding the cup like that, though?
Feels good.
It looks good, actually.
I'm
Yeah,
jealous that I had somebody that can hold the cup this way.
I'm jealous. I could do it. You think I could do it? He's holding his cup like this.
Yeah, it turns out anyone can do it.
Yeah. Too hot.
Yeah,
Ouch. I don't like it.
No, but try to drink that way. It's very satisfying.
I believe it, but it's too hot. I'm afraid I'll spill on myself. Yeah, Becca said those are fighting words from Mr. I Want a Navi spawn.
I want to know he's fun.
Remember the Navi babies that you always said you wanted?
Yeah, what about him?
I don't want it.
Are you not going to send one to me now? Or
No,
are
she's
you?
not going to send one to you now.
Oh, okay.
But she'll be here in
You're
3
only
weeks,
her-
so...
The Navi Swan?
No, Becca.
Oh, with a Navi Swan?
No, with her own spawn.
Painted like a Navi?
Are you gonna paint Max like a Navi?
Oh, is this for the,
Disneyland.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, you all have a good time.
I know.
What?
That was just funny the way you said it. You all have a good time. Sasha, my curve every snack is the
Well,
best part
I'm not
of They are very
invited,
good.
so you will all have a good time.
That's not true. You said you had to work.
When is it?
Wednesday, in the middle of a week. The
Yeah, I
week
have to
before your
work.
I
have to work.
Literally the week before your summit.
I have to work.
I know, that's why.
Well, then I'm not invited. I am uninviting myself. It was for...
Okay.
It's for moms
Shh,
and
wait,
daughters. It's not the whole
shh,
thing.
we can't say it anymore. There are people walking into her the room where she's in who don't know what's going on.
Oh, I don't even know what's going on.
We're having a dance party. That's what's going on. Would anyone like to participate?
No. Yes. Medium.
This man, I tell you what. Okay, let's just read. And that's fair, Cindy. What I hear is that Secret Beyonce wants to get a reset. Dude, Secret Beyonce has to work on a summit for his job that he does not want to participate in, so it's sad. He was like, I have to plan an hour talk. That's good, Becca, but that doesn't mean that you can't paint in blue at home. Right? Who's saying that you can't paint Max blue in your own home? Who would say such a thing to you? Who would tell you that about your own children? Okay, so I am going to read the little blurb. Oh, okay, fair enough. I'm going to read the little blurb about the book since we haven't done that yet, and I think it's interesting, and then we'll get started on reading the book. A million meanings in a single name. Heiress, party girl, problem child, selfie taker, model, cover girl, reality star, self-created. These are labels that have been attached to Paris Hilton by others. Founder, entrepreneur, pop culture maker, innovator, survivor, activist, daughter, sister, wife. These are roles that Paris Hilton embraces now as a fully realized woman. Paris rose to prominence as an heiress to the Hilton hotel empire, but cultivated her fame and fortune as the it girl of the aughts, a time marked by the burgeoning 24-hour entertainment news cycle and the advent of the celebrity blog. Using her celebrity brand, Paris set in motion her innovative business ventures while being the constant target of tabloid culture that dismissively wrote her off as famous for being famous. With tenacity, sharp big business acumen, and grit, she built a global empire and in the process became a true modern icon beloved around the world. Now, with courage, honesty, and humor, Paris Hilton is ready to take stock, place it all in context, and share her story with the world. Separating the creation from the creator, the brand from the ambassador, Paris the Memoir strips away all that we thought we knew about this celebrity icon, taking us back to a privileged childhood lived through the lens of undiagnosed ADHD and teenage rebellion that triggered a panic and perilous decision by her parents. Led to believe that they were saving their child's life, Paris's mother and father had her kidnapped and sent to a series of emotional growth boarding schools, where she survived almost 2 years of verbal, physical, and SA. In the midst of a hell we now call the troubled teen industry, Paris created a beautiful inner world where the ugliness couldn't touch her. She came out resolving to trust no one but herself as she transformed into the fantasy world. She transformed that fantasy world into a multi-billion-dollar reality. Recounting her perilous journey through the pre-Me Too politics with grace, dignity, and just the right amount of sass, Paris the Memoir tracks the evolution of a celebrity through culture and a story of a figure that leads it at its leading edge, full of defining moments and marquee names. Most important, Paris shows us her path to peace while she challenges us to question our role in the story, in our own story. Welcome to Paris. I think it's interesting because, obviously Paris Hilton is a very divisive person, right? Throughout her time in the public eye, people have had very, very disparate opinions of her. But she did come of age in this really strange time where the 24-hour news cycle was pretty new. They're really going to be nearby once a month. Yeah, they can. Totally. Yeah, let them go. So I'm interested to see how this goes.
Her dedication says, "For the family I was born into, the family I made, and the family I found along the way. I love you all." That's nice. Prologue. Dr. Edward Hallowell, author of Driven to Distraction, says the ADH brain is like a Ferrari with bicycle brakes, powerful but difficult to control. My ADHD makes me lose my phone, but it also makes me who I am. So if I'm going to love my life, I have to love my ADHD. And I do love my life. It's June 2022, and I'm having one of the best weeks ever. My friend Christina Aguilera, my neighbor, invited me to be one of her top secret guests at the LA Pride. And as my crew moved the DJ equipment out the door, I was so nervous and excited that I left the house without my shoes and showed up at a backstage trailer in a tank shirt, velour track pants, and socks, which was even more embarrassing when I accidentally went into the wrong dressing room. Some backup dancers were in there getting dressed and screamed of joy when they saw me. So, selfies, obviously. I always do it to myself. I always try to do it myself. I like to hold the person's camera so it's angled down, which is important if you're tall, because it's so unflattering when the angle is up your nose or the person's hands are shaking and they're maybe a bit nervous or a bit shy, which I totally relate to. So I did that with loves it, sliving, all the things, and then I went off in my socks doing this thing my husband Carter calls the unicorn trot. Not fully running, more graceful than galloping, and... You okay?
What?
Are you okay?
Never. I'm dying.
Oh, we lost one. And less like skipping than dancing. I have a hard time going slow. So then I'm there at Pride with Christina and 30,000 other people, all decked out in rainbows and sparkles and dancing and laughing and hugging and having the best time during my set, which came right after Kim Petras, who sang at our wedding last year, this beautiful ballad of Stars Are Blind and then Can't Help Falling in Love as Carter and I walked down the aisle, which is why that song brought tears to my eyes last week at Britney Spears' wedding when our gorgeous angel princess emerged after all those nightmare years and floated down the aisle in Versace, because Versace, please, with that iconic Elvis Presley song, which has been sung at 1 million weddings in Vegas, where my grandfather, Baron Hilton, started the whole Vegas residency trend by having Elvis at the Las Vegas Hilton International back in 1969, paving the way for Britney and so many other groundbreaking performers to flourish in that format. A perfect example of how one person's creative vision sparks a cascade of genius that goes on and on into the future. Fair. Another perfect example, my great-grandfather Conrad Hilton. Wait, where was I? Pride. This crowd, oh my God, energy, love, light, unbreakable spirit. I'm behind the board. It's like piloting a spaceship full of the coolest people in the galaxy. My set is structured around iconic music like Toxic, alongside beat breaker remixes of Genie in a Bottle by Xtina, Queen of the Night, plus a lot of other dope originals and remixes, which I should put up on a podcast or YouTube because this set is so much fun. Note to self, make a playlist for this book. Anyway, I was so hyper-focused on my set, note to self, do alternate playlist. It didn't even hit me until I was halfway through that I had left my phone on the counter in the trailer where I took the selfies with half of the backup dancers. Fuck. I'm not trying to say fuck all the time. I don't want to wear it out because it's such a good word for so many occasions. A noun, a verb, a job description, fill in the blank. Fuck saves the day. So fuck, because I feel naked without my phone and I'm super paranoid about someone getting a hold of it and blasting its contents all over the internet, which has happened more than once. So thank God for Cade, my best friend and guardian angel, who went to locate the stray phone after I killed my set, and we all went to the after party Christina and I hosted at Soho House downtown. It is interesting because her back and forth is like exactly like you're right, it's very relatable. Where she's like, wait, what was I saying? You know, we all do that. Now I'm home with my loves, Diamond Baby, Sylvington Crypto, Ether, Harajuku, and the OG Chihuahua. And Harajuku, the OG Chihuahua. Shout out to Harajuku. She's 22 years old. Multiply that by 7 dog years and she's literally 154. She sleeps 23 hours a day and she looks like Gizmo from Gremlins, but she's still here living her best life. I know one night I'll come home to find that she's fallen asleep forever. I'm so scared of that night and I hate this random intrusive thought. Intrusive thoughts are my nemesis, cutting through my joy even when I've been a part of an epic event with people who lift me higher and higher, and my husband's in bed waiting patiently for me to take my bath and do my skincare routine, which he knows I never cut short. Yeah, it's can someone text me? Exactly, that's right. From the time my sister and I were little girls, our mom instilled in us the value of skincare. I always feel her with me in that soothing ritual. Skincare, if you're doing it right, means claiming a moment of tenderness in an abrasive world. You remove the mask, your brave face, your funny face, your enforcer face, your hard candy coating, and you see yourself cleansed and replenished. And it's like, okay, I'm good. You feel everything so keenly when you've just washed your face, like a newborn feels that first sting of fresh air. Kim Kardashian and I were making frittatas and French toast coated with frosted flakes for breakfast one morning, and she said, I don't know anyone who parties as hard as you do and looks as good as you do. Skincare. Seriously, if you take nothing else from my story, receive this. Skincare is sacred. Most women who did coke back in the 1990s look beat by the mid-aughts. That was a strong deterrent for me. I won't say I never tried it, but I wasn't about to sacrifice my complexion for it. Same with cigarettes. You may as well hit yourself in the face with a shovel. These days, my only bad habit is spray tanning. My sister Nikki can't stand it, but I'm kind of addicted. Otherwise, Carter and I are on a big wellness and skincare kick. We always say, forever's not long enough. Taking care of ourselves is something we do for each other out of love. We want our good life to last. Kristen Chenoweth's book was pretty good. I read that one. Yeah, it is nice. It is. After I put the frittata in the oven and set a cute little penguin timer, Kim said, now is the 12 minutes when we clean. Clean as you go is the rule. My only rule is skincare. Sunscreen is my 11th commandment. You may be wondering, what does all of this have to do with ADHD? Nothing. And also everything. All at once. ADHD is exhausting and exhilarating, and it's how God made me, so it must be right. Carter doesn't fully grasp what it means to be ADHD, but he understands he is the first and only man in my life who made the effort to understand it. Early in our relationship, he spent a lot of time and energy researching ADHD, which is the most authentically loving thing a man has ever done for me. Most people sigh, drum their fingers, and let me know how insanely frustrating it is to be sucked into the endless spin cycle of my life. Carter rolls with it. Where most people see a dumpster fire, Carter sees Burning Man. He gets frustrated, for sure, but he's not trying to deprogram me. Carter is a venture capitalist. M13, the company that he founded with his brother, Courtney, is known for engaging with unicorns, startups valued at more than $1 billion, like Rothy's, Ring, and Daily Harvest. Carter's a unicorn whisperer. He's sentimental and forward-thinking, and he likes to be the boss, but he has a light touch. If we're in an 1111 media board meeting, in case anyone doesn't know, 1111 is her company. That's right, Jen. That's right. Yeah, it is nice. It is kind of cute. If we're in a board meeting talking about contract and I go off on a tangent about a better tool for impromptu IG videos and how that tool could be styled, manufactured, and marketed in a really fun and accessible way that I could promote via cross-promotional content, and what if the knob was like a little otter or a sloth or a kangaroo, Carter leans in to whisper in my ear, babe. Not in a mean way, just bringing me back to center. And when I was featured in The Disruptors, a documentary about extraordinary people with ADHD, including will.i.am, Jillian Michaels, Justin Timberlake, the founders of JetBlue, IKEA, Steve Madden, Simone Biles, Adam Levine, Terry Bradshaw, astronaut Scott Kelly, Channing Tatum, the list goes on and on. The Disruptors also features Dr. Hallowell and other psychologists and neurologists who have advanced the science of ADHD. The message of the film really flies in the face of the misconceptions and stigma. The structure and function of the ADHD brain are a throwback to a time when you had to be a badass to survive, find food, and procreate. Visual cue. Rachel Welsh as the iconic cave woman queen in 1 million years BC. The frontal lobe, home of the impulse control, concentration, and inhibition, is smaller because the primitive badass has to react on instinct without fear. Neural pathways don't connect or mature at the same rate because it was more important for the primitive queen to be better at picking berries and killing saber-toothed tigers than at reading novels. Dopamine and noradrenaline, whoa, that was hard. She was saying the founder of IKEA, the store IKEA. Powerful chemicals that regulate sleep and facilitate communication between brain cells were on a slow drip because she had to wake up at the snap of a twig. I, like 5% of children and 2.5% of adults, am a primitive badass in a world of contemporary thinkers, a world that wants obedience and conformity. Even if we want to be the orderly people that our loved ones want us to be, we don't have it in us. We must embrace who we are or die trying to be someone else. The benefits of ADHD include creativity, intuition, resilience, and the ability to brainstorm. I'm good at damage control because I'm constantly losing things, showing up late, and pissing people off. I'm good at multitasking because I'm not hardwired to concentrate on one thing for a big block of time, because my attention span is limited and I don't see time as linear. The ADHD brain processes past, present, and future as a spirograph of interconnected events, which gives me a certain spidey sense about fashion trends and technology. It's easy to follow my bliss because my bliss is wherever my interest is at any given moment. My brain chemistry craves sensory input, sounds, images, puzzles, art, motion, experience, everything that triggers adrenaline or endorphins. That's all as necessary as oxygen for the ADHD brain. We should send her some slime. This girl needs some slime. I don't just love fun, I need fun. Fun is my jet fuel. The primary disadvantage of ADHD is that people around you are often inconvenienced, weirded out, or hurt by your behavior, so you're constantly getting judged and punished, which makes you feel like shit. Suicidal ideation is higher in people with ADHD. Self-loathing and self-medication are an endemic. If the rest of the world says you're obnoxious or stupid or not braining right, loving yourself is an act of rebellion, which is beautiful but exhausting, especially when you're a little kid. With that needy little kid always inside you, your life becomes an epic quest for love, whatever feels like love in that moment. I was never medicated as a kid, never tested for ADHD as far as I know. Even if you have the most wonderful and loving parents in the world, and I do, diagnosis doesn't always happen early, especially for girls who are good at hiding symptoms. Treatment of ADHD has traditionally focused on squashing undesirable behavior. In the 1980s, people had just started talking about being hyper or being on the spectrum. No one ever said, "Relax, little girl, there are many kinds of intelligences." Instead, people told me I was dumb, bratty, careless, ungrateful, or not applying myself, and none of that was true. I had to be creative and work hard to fit in. I'm naturally creative and hardworking, so I was in it every day, grinding away, trying to fit in until I grew strong enough to say, "Fuck fitting in," which is what I intend to teach my children from the beginning, so that no matter what their neurodevelopment profile happens to be. As an adult, I've been medication fluid. When I was in my early 20s, a doctor explained what was wrong with me and put me on Adderall. That was a love-hate relationship that went on for about 20 years, me and Adderall, until Carter and I met with Dr. Hallowell. Dr. Hallowell said, "I've been trying to explain to people since 1981 that this condition, if you use it properly, is an asset composed of qualities that you can't buy and you can't teach." Yeah, it's right. She's right. It's the stigma that holds us back. Stigma plus ignorance, a lethal combination. I felt a lightning bolt that you feel when someone speaks a hard truth that you've always known, but never heard anyone say out loud. Our kryptonite is boredom, said Dr. Hallowell. If stimulation doesn't occur, we create it. We self-medicate with adrenaline. ADHD can be a wellspring of creative energy, but creative energy is the evil twin is troublemaking compulsion. Want some adrenaline? Do everything the hard way. Get into a train wreck relationship. There are a million ways to screw yourself over for the sake of adrenaline. My imagination is infinite, but it takes me to dark places as easily as it takes me towards the light. Dr. Hallowell calls it the demon, that snake that slithers into everything that tells you if it's bad, you deserve it. If it's good, it won't last. Of course, the demon is a liar, but trying to tell that to my brain when it's craving a big bucket of deep-fried anxiety. Your greatest asset is your worst enemy, said Dr. Hallowell, and my brain said, fuck. Tell me, Paris, how's your self-esteem? I'm good at pretending, I said. He said, that's common among people who live with ADHD. Not people who suffer from ADHD, not people afflicted with ADHD, people who live with ADHD. Some of us have discovered that ADHD is our superpower. I wish the A stood for asking, and I wish the D stood for dope and drive. I wish the H stood for hell, yes. I'm not bragging or complaining about it. I'm just telling you, this is my brain, and it has a lot to do with how this whole book thing is going to play out, because I love run-on sentences and dashes and sentence fragments, and I'm probably going to jump around a lot while I tell the story. The spiral graph of time, it's all connected. I've avoided talking about some of these issues for decades. I'm an issue avoiding machine. I've learned from the best. My parents. Nikki says mom and dad are the king and queen of sweeping things under the rug. This is a hierarchy, and these are the rules in my family. If you don't talk about a thing, then it's not a problem. If you hide how deep something hurts you, it didn't happen. If you pretend not to notice how deeply someone hurt you, you don't have to feel bad about it. Of course, that's bullshit. What makes it even crazier, it's not good business. I come from a family of brilliant business people. How can we all be so bad at emotional economics? Relationships, professional and personal, are transactional, give and take. For better or worse, you invest and you hope for a good return, but there's always a risk. I love my mom, and I know she loves me. Still, we've put each other through hell and can't squeeze out more than a few words on certain topics. It's going to be hard for her to read this book, and I won't be surprised if she puts it on a shelf for a while, or forever, and that's okay. Yeah. I have to say, she's killing it so far. This is great. I thought this was going to be like Brittany's book. This is way better written than Brittany's book. Whoever her person was that she wrote with is like worlds away from whoever goes to wrote Brittany's book. This person is a way better writer. This is good, you know? I don't know. I like it. I'm into it. This writes good for me. I'm trying to take ownership of some intense personal things I've never been able to talk about. Things that I've said and done, things that have been said and done to me. I have a hard time trusting and don't easily share my private thoughts. I'm super protective of my family and my brand. The businesswoman who grew out of a party girl and the party girl who still lives inside the businesswoman. So it scares me to think of what a lot of people will say, but it is time. There are so many young women who need to hear this story. I don't want them to learn from my mistakes. I want them to stop hating themselves for their own mistakes. I want them to laugh and to see that they do have a voice in their own brand of intelligence. And girl, fuck fitting in. Yeah, pretty good so far. Wow, that was a good prologue. I'm gonna give her props. I do love a good memoir. Yeah. She seems like our kind of girl. Does anyone know what time it is? I really need to charge my watch. And now I sound just like the first chapter of this book. All right, let's see. 9/11. I need to Google how ghostwriting works. Like, should you have an idea? That's a great question, Anya. I think if I understand it correctly, every relationship does it differently depending on what works for them. I'm sure that some people give a basic story outline and the writer writes it. I'm sure other people write things and it's made to sound better by the writers. You know, it just depends on what they need, because different people need different levels of help. But this is well done. I know that a lot of them do interviews with them where they like sit down and they like record their words and then they put it into written form or whatever, but not just verbatim, you know? Yeah. All right, part 1. Never regret anything because at one time it was exactly what you wanted. Marilyn Monroe. People told me it was stupid to go skydiving the morning after my 21st birthday party in Las Vegas, but back then, I didn't care, and now I know they were wrong. If you want to go skydiving in the morning after a level 9 rager, go for it. Your 21st birthday is prime real estate for stupid, and a lot of stupid things you do in your 20s lay the foundation for wisdom later on. As you wise up, you realize that all the stupid things you didn't do, those are the regrets. My 20s were like, damn, girl. Leave no stupid behind. Love the wrong men. Hate the wrong women. Wear the Von Dutch. I have no regrets. Okay. I have a few regrets. Skydiving is not one of them. When I decided to do it, I was thinking it would be a perfect cherry on top of a star-studded, multiplicity, balls-out birthday celebration that was lit AF. Possibly the greatest 21st birthday celebration since Marie Antoinette. And I can say this with authority because party is an area of expertise for me, a marketable skill developed over a lifetime of dedicated practice. I did read that, Naisa. Yeah, I read that. Last year? The year before? I can't remember, but I did read it. Yeah. Here's a brief history of my partying legacy. Details to be developed at greater length later in this book. The parties I went to when I was tiny were mostly gatherings at Brooklawn, the home of my dad's parents, Baron and Marilyn Hilton, whom I called Papa and Nanu. You may have seen this house on docuseries Paris in Love, the Georgian-style mansion where I got married in 2021. Designed by legendary architect Paul R. Williams, who also created homes for Frank Sinatra, Lucille Ball, Barbara Stanwyck, and other Hollywood immortals. The house was built for Jay Paley, one of the founders of CBS, in 1935. At the time, Papa was 8, living in a hotel with his big brother Nicky and baby brother Eric, and my grandfather Conrad Hilton. My great-grandfather Conrad Hilton. My great-grandmother had left them, according to family mythology, because she didn't like the hard-working hotel life and gave up on Conrad ever having real money, mentally inserting "Bye Felicia" gif here. Conrad was later briefly married to the Hungarian socialite Zsa Gabor, who was broke but beautiful and happy to go out dancing every night. Zsa had a sparkling personality and developed an early version of the business model we now call influencing, getting paid to wear clothing, appear at parties, and talk up beauty products so the brand name would appear in the Hollywood press. The marriage ended bitterly, and Conrad decided it was better to raise the boys himself. He brought them up with old-school Christian values, making them work as bellhops and teaching them that work and family are jealous gods who will always be at war, fighting for a man's time and complete devotion. Papa married Nanu after World War II, and they had 8 kids. My dad is number 6. When he was little, they moved into the Jay Paley house and renamed it Brooklawn. This all sounds like ancient history, but to understand my story, you need to know the Hilton of it all. People who knew Conrad Hilton tell me I'm just like him, and that I take mostly as a compliment. Mostly. He died 2 years before I was born, and despite what most people think, he left most of his fortune to charity. Papa worked. My parents worked. I'm a working beast. In 2022, I signed a massive deal to be the face of Hilton Hotels in an ad campaign cross-promotion on my social media, and I love working with them. But I think that's the biggest money I'll ever get for being a Hilton. But I am a Hilton, and that's huge. Here's me, acknowledging how lucky and blessed I am, okay? My family's been called American royalty, and I'm not downplaying the extraordinary privilege or access that it gave me. Experiences, travel, opportunities. I'm grateful for all of it. The Baron Hilton family is huge, and we all flock together loving each other and minding each other's business, even though we don't see each other as much since Nanu died. When we were little, Nikki and I adventured around Brooklawn with our million cousins, climbing fences, playing kickball on the lush green lawn. Parties at Brooklawn were like full-on carnival events with pony rides, petting zoos, bouncy castles, tennis tournaments, and Marco Polo death matches in a gigantic pool, which featured an elaborate mosaic imported Italian tile depicting signs of the zodiac. I'm an Aquarius, so I thought I should be the one that looked kind of like a mermaid, but that turned out to be Virgo. Aquarius was a beefy looking dude with a jug of water on his shoulder. I probably cried when I found that out. Actually, I probably cried for like 3 seconds and then decided I was the mermaid no matter what the stars or some old Italian tile people said. Same girl, same. My parents, Ricky and Kathy, spent the 1970s partying with Andy Warhol and the hippest possible crowds from Studio City to Studio 54. My dad's in real estate and finance, the co-founder of Hilton and Highland, a massive firm specializing in high-level corporate and residential real estate. My parents did a lot of entertaining related to his business, and when Mom has a party, she plans it down to the last rose petal. All the little things that make her guests feel like they're part of something special. Everything is perfect, including the hostess. My mom styles herself and her surroundings with impeccable taste. She walks into a party and works that room like royalty, savvy, kind, and beautiful. People love her because she genuinely cares about people. She listens to them and lets them feel savvy, kind, and beautiful too. True sophistication is the ability to fit in anywhere because you have a broad understanding and respect for all kinds of people. My mom is sophisticated like that. She's funny and smart and stylish, but savvy is her real superpower. And I had no clue how much silly energy she had bottled up inside her until she signed on to do The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in 2021. It's like somebody popped a cork on a bottle of pink champagne. When Nikki and I were little, before the boys came along, Mom schooled us on party manners, which fork to use, how to place our feet when we stood on a red carpet for photos. We understood that our family name carried weight and drew attention. We had certain place in society which came with certain expectations. As little girls, Nikki and I attended super chic social functions, fundraising events, holiday galas, and fancy receptions at the Waldorf or the Met, where my parents mixed with lawyers, agents, politicos, and all kinds of extraordinary people who did big things. Yeah, probably. Probably, Becca. One of my earliest memories is sitting on Andy Warhol's lap, drawing pictures at an after party at the Waldorf Astoria. He loved me and always told my mom, this kid's gonna be a huge star. I love that my parents included us in all that. You think that fancy business and social events would be boring for a little kid, but I lived for those parties. I learned to appreciate the architecture of a good ball gown. I was exposed to great music, jazz combos, string quartets, and private performances by famous artists. I sat like a butterfly on a fence, eavesdropping on adult conversations about corporate maneuvers, real estate deals, fortunes being made and lost, ill-advised love affairs, and messy divorces. It was all about love and money, two things that fascinate me because everyone seems to be under the spell of one or the other. The first time I experienced going to a club environment, I was 12. Nikki and I were friends with Pia Zadora's daughter, Katie, and Pia was friends with our mom. So we got to go with Pia to a New Kids on the Block concert in LA because Pia was a celebrity. We got to go backstage. We were like dying. We're gonna go to Bar 1 for the after party, the boys told Pia. You should come. Nikki and Katie and I were like, we have to go, please. We were totally obsessed with New Kids. Pia was cool, so we went over to bar 1 and the bouncers let her right in because celebrity. The atmosphere inside Bar 1 blew my tiny mind. I had an immediate visceral response like, yes, because lights, music, laughter, fashion, music, joy, lights, white teeth, diamonds, music, a blast of flashy sensory input on my ADHD brain constantly craved. I didn't know what I was feeling was an actual shift in my body chemistry, but I knew that I was feeling something real. And I loved it. Every part of me came alive. Body, brain, skin, spirit, and it felt awesome. Unfortunately, just as I was soaking all of this in, we bumped into my mom's sister. Aunt Kyle was like, what the fuck? And she dragged Pia aside for a brief hissy conversation and then took us home. But I knew I had to go back. In my early teens, I took advantage of every sneak out opportunity I could create. I became one of those desperately seeking Susan club kids who ruled the nighttime world in the early 90s. The Vogue dancers, drag queens, and Harajuku girls took me under their wings and watched out for me, which is how I learned the key elements of partying like a rock star. Number 1, stay hydrated. Number 2, stay pretty. Tipsy can be cute, but drunk is gross. Number 3, wear boots, like good, sturdy platform boots and comfortable clothes so you can dance all night easily and climb in and out of windows and over fences if needed. I didn't drink or do drugs back then. When I was a kid, fun was the only party drug I needed. I wasn't there to get wasted. I was there to dance. Alcohol and drugs are for escaping reality, and I wanted all the reality I could get. The escape drinking didn't happen until later. One night after the Pia Zadora club adventure, I tried to smuggle Nikki, our cousin Farah, and our friend Khloe Kardashian into Bar 1. Khloe and Farah were little middle school girls, so I did Khloe up with full makeup and a long red wig and a floppy black hat. I told her, if anyone asks, your name is Betsy Johnson. This is such a young teen thing to do. This is a very real, that's hilarious. Your name's Betsy Johnson. Stop it. Don't be ridiculous. I put Farah on top of somebody's shoulders with a big trench coat. We put so much effort into our disguises that we were shocked when we didn't get past the velvet ropes. I guess you need to be with someone famous, I said. I didn't like how it felt to be rejected in front of everyone. I wasn't going to let it happen again. When I was 16, I hooked up fake IDs from Nikki and me. We weren't fooling anyone, but we were getting a little bit famous, so we had no trouble getting into Bar 1, now Bootsy Bellows, Roxbury, now Pink Taco, and other hot spots. My partying opportunities between the ages of 16 and 18 were limited because I was locked up with a series of culty wilderness boot camps and emotional growth boarding schools. When I escaped for a few blessed weeks of freedom, I played it safe with small beach parties and living room gatherings where kids were just chilling and talking until I made everyone get up and dance, especially kids who were too shy or felt self-conscious about their bodies. They're the ones who need dancing the most. This is still the rule at every gig I DJ in my virtual world or real life. When you party with Paris, you dance. Yeah, that's the name of a club in LA, Becca. At 18, I signed with a modeling agency, and what do you think people wanted to do after runway shows? Party with models. It's easy to think, no duh, but move past the easy assumption that men are pigs and models are dumb. That's not fair or true or useful. Most men are basically decent, I think, and successful models travel all over the world. Traveling the world is the best education there is. Most models are in their teens and 20s and sometimes lack of maturity shows, but they're growing. Give them a minute. Networking, knowing how to work a party, is a critical aspect of growing a business. And in my 20s, I was good at both partying and business. People started paying me to come to their parties. I didn't invent getting paid to go to parties, but I did reinvent it. I'm proud to be called the OG influencer. Girls need to understand the value that they bring to a party, a lot more than standing around and looking pretty. Mannequins can do that. An accomplished party girl is a facilitator, a negotiator, a diplomat. She's the sparkler and the match. Know your worth, girls. You're not lucky to be at the party. The party is lucky to have you. Apply as needed to relationships, jobs, and family. Like my wedding in 2021, my 21st birthday celebration in 2002 spanned multiple days and time zones. I'd already been partying in clubs for years, and I was sick of bullshitting bouncers passing off fake IDs as if they didn't know. It made pretenders of us all, and it seems like such a waste of energy. I was excited to be 21 and leave all that behind. This was my first time to go all out, nice and legal, so I went big, planning parties all over the world and getting sponsors to pay for it all. My coming-of-age birthday bash was dancing, drinking, hobnobbing multiverse that left people paralyzed with exhaustion. Obviously, I coordinated an amazing wardrobe. This was a multi-look event with a whole lineup of designer-forward dresses, platform heels, accessories, and diamond tiaras. This was the genesis of my iconic silver chainmail dress by Julian McDonald, a dress Kendall Jenner cloned for her own 21st birthday party in 2016. That's how timeless that garment is. I wore mine again, hell yes I kept it, on my last night in Marabella, Spain when I was DJing there in 2017. Julian made me the chainmail dress to wear at my London party at the end of London Fashion Week where I walked in his show. I was the bride. The bride's dress was amazing, but the first time I laid eyes on that iconic chainmail birthday dress, I was blown away. This dress is everything, I said. This dress is going to end up in a museum someday. The weight and construction are exquisitely engineered. Incorporating thousands of Swarovski crystals, it moves like a liquid slinky. The neckline is cut down to Argentina, so double-sided tape is needed to prevent a nip slip. That usually works pretty well until you work up a sweat on the dance floor, but dancing in that dress felt better than a milk bath. I fell on my face when I was running to hug somebody, so I thought I should get out of those 6-inch heels. I think that's when I changed into a floaty blue mermaid dress, backless but well built. At Go Lounge in LA, I wore a sheer pink mini studded, wait, hold on. I wore a sheer pink mini. Oh, a sheer pink mini. It needed a comma there. Okay. A sheer pink mini needs comma, studded with a trillion hand-sewed diamante beads. But nothing made me feel the way that I felt dancing my ass off that night in the Stork Lounge in London in that silver Julian McDonald dress. I want every girl to feel that way on her 21st birthday. Free, happy, beautiful, loved, invincible. Heatherette made me a turquoise mermaid dress covered in Swarovski crystals to wear at Studio 54 in New York. Le Cirque put out this extreme gourmet buffet and made me a gorgeous 21-tier birthday cake. After that, there was a party in Paris, France, because Paris, and then Tokyo, where I sponsored a massive party for thousands of fans because I could never leave my little Hiltons behind. And then I went back to LA and did a rolling bash that moved from LAX to my house on Kings Road with friends and family I'd known and loved all my life. My house on Kings Road was piled high with presents. Friends and fans from all over the world sent roses, rings, bracelets, stuffed animals, so many sweet and thoughtful gifts. I was so touched by the loving words written in cards, letters, and email. I wrote thank you notes until my arm was ready to fall off. Curating a party crowd is a skill. Andy Warhol was the undisputed mastermind of party curation. Prince inherited the title from him and took it to the next level with secret sauce, music. That's what stays with me from all those parties, the music and the people. My sister and my cousins, lots of childhood friends like Nicole Richie, the hot matriarchs, Mom, Kris Jenner, Faye Resnick, Aunt Kyle, Aunt Kim, random legends like P. Diddy, that didn't age well, and restaurateur Cyril Maconi, and all the family and friends who've been constant in my life. but also a lot of cool people who came and went because friendships have their season, and that's okay. Yeah, I don't know, Becca. I don't know. This fascinating assortment of people danced to my hand-picked playlist. Everybody danced. This was before my professional DJ days, but I always had an instinct for ebb and flow. Club music of the early aughts was made for raging. Chemical Brothers' Star Guitar, Depeche Mode Free Love, DJ Discipline Caught Up featuring Mia Cox, Funky Green Dogs, You Got Me Burning Up, and I also have to have my soul songs, Ultra Nate's Free. At the Bellagio in Las Vegas, DJ AM played, so I knew the music would be on point. I didn't want that night to be over. For most of my adult life, if I slept without my dogs, and a lot of time even when I had them with me, nightmares chewed through my brain and tore up my stomach, so I was terrified to fall asleep. I put it off as long as I could, partying on, dancing, drinking champagne, dancing, drinking, laughing, dancing, until it was morning and my body was like, babe, stop, it's over. And the next thing I knew, my phone was vibrating in my armpit. Somebody was pounding on my hotel room door. Paris, wake up. We have to get to the airstrip. I opened my eyes. The room reeled like a disco ball. What? Why are we going? And then I remembered I told everyone I was going skydiving. Ugh, no. This was going to suck, but I didn't want to embarrass myself by backing out. So I pulled on a tracksuit, and even after I chugged a bottle of water, my mouth felt like a sandbox. The water made me feel kind of ill, like I was about to throw up, but there was nothing else in my stomach. Maybe a little cake? I've been so busy dancing, I never really made it over to the buffet. Usually champagne is good hangover insurance, but I also had some shots or martinis or whatever people drink at their 21st birthday party. My right eyeball was in supernova. My hair follicles were screaming. On the way to the tiny airstrip outside Las Vegas, I kept telling myself, don't be lame, don't be lame, don't be lame. I knew that if I vomited or cried or backed out, some of the people I was hanging out with would not be able to keep that to themselves. Someone would be taking pictures and selling them. Some of these people were trusted friends, but others I didn't know that well or trust at all. And the hangover had sapped my energy to differentiate. So I defaulted to my trust no one mode and tried to pretend I was super excited. I'm really tired, I said. I'm just gonna, yeah. I covered my head with my jacket and trembled like a little wet dog. We got to the private airstrip and the wide, dry nothing somewhere outside the city. I was so dehydrated and wrung out that I couldn't even comprehend all this information that the guy was giving me. Something about blah, 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 tandem instructor, blah, blah, jumping at 13,000 feet, blah, 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 free falling for the first mile on the way down. I'm sitting there like, what the fuck have I gotten myself into? And then they strapped the whole apparatus onto me and shit got real. I was 100% sober and I was scared. Going up in this tiny rattlecrap airplane, everybody else was laughing and talking, yelling because the engine was so loud. The yippity-yappity voices felt like scissors in my ears, and I just sat there, quiet. I always get quiet when I'm a little scared, like a little rabbit going purely on instinct, huddled in a silent ball, ready to take in evasive maneuvers. It's humbling to be reminded that no matter how big your life is, you're still a speck of dust that can be swept off the earth in a half a second. The goggles were tight on my face. Were tight on my face. That would leave a mark. I was positive. Ugh. I was sitting on the lap of this guy, a stranger whose body was literally strapped to my body. Our bodies spooned together, so that was weird. And my life was in the hands of this man. And this whole stupid thing was terrifying. I wanted to hurl. And then they opened the door. A blast of freezing cold air roared in. Now, above this door, the same sign you see above every door of every airplane, red letters, all caps. This door must remain closed. There's a reason. When the door opens, the world ends. Your head gets sucked out, inside out. Your heart shrivels like a forgotten mushroom. This door must remain closed. But now this door is open. I'm on this bench behind some other people, and every time someone jumps, everyone scoots forward. Someone jumps. We all scoot forward. Jump, scoot, jump, scoot. My spoon mate keeps pushing me closer to the door, yelling, "Doing great, Paris! This is gonna be awesome, Paris! Almost there, Paris! Doing great!" And then we're at the door. I feel the edge under my feet. The wind is so fast and loud, it whips away the sound of my screaming like pulling of a loose thread. "On 3, says the guy, but if he ever said 3, I didn't hear it. It was like 1, and then nothing. Everything. Air. Light. Unbearable brightness. A blessed rush of adrenaline. I expected to feel like I was falling, like the ground was flying up at my face. It's not like that. You start out at 13,000 feet, literally miles above the earth. So everything you're falling at, 120 miles per hour, the space around you is just so vast. The distance so great, your perspective is that of a slow moving cloud. There was nothing to hang on to, nothing to let go. I opened my arms and felt unpolluted joy, freedom, ecstasy, everything you want but will never be able to get from drugs or money or even love. All the constant cravings of my adrenaline junkie brain. Conrad Hilton was a religious man. He wrote a lot about God, feared God, wanted to know God, craved God. He should have gone skydiving. I'm sorry, we have to stop. That's an amazing line. That's amazing. I'm gonna give her props for that. That's genius. The tandem instructor released the chute and I was caught up in a slow, quiet ride, suspended above the desert like a diamond on a delicate silver chain. I stopped thinking, stopped trying, stopped wondering. The sky was crystal blue perfection. The distant mountains were wrinkled yellow and ochre, iced with midwinter snow. The wide open desert gave up thousands of shades of gray, sliced with highways dotted with boxy little structures. The insignificance of anyone who ever loved or hurt me, the insignificance of myself. There was no audience to play for, only profound peace, a state of grace. We descended, riding the wind, borne on soaring updrafts, gratitude, elation, triumph. I'm here. I survived. I'm not afraid. I love my life. Marilyn Monroe said, fear is stupid, so is regret. In general, I found this to be true. Many times throughout my life, the most terrifying moments have led to the most fulfilling. Free falling over Nevada's desert is just one example. I want to tell you about a few others, even though I know not everyone is going to like what I have to say. We all have that jump door inside us, and for a long time, I marked mine with red letters, all caps. This door must remain closed. Well, brace yourself, bitches. We're about to pry it open. Ooh, I love it. I'm super into this. I'm very into this. This is right. This is good. This feels good to me. This is well done. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing, actually. It's really, really well done. Kudos to her and her ghostwriter, because it can't just be the ghostwriter that, you know what I mean? Like, you need Paris' story, obviously. Yeah, I think we all learned that a little while ago, Becca, but yeah, it's good. Actually, didn't she write another book like way back in the Simple Life days? I think I went to a signing for that when I was younger because one of my friends wanted to go, so I got a copy, and I think I have a signed copy somewhere. That's okay, Anya. It's about living and learning, am I right? Don't, I think she probably, based on this, would be the first to say, let's go from here. You know what I mean? All right, that was wonderful. In case anyone on here did not know, we have Roll for Slime tonight at 4:30 Pacific time. Their signups are 100% full. We will not be taking any more on tonight. I will have the list posted soon, and the link, actually I think nobody signed up for After Dark, so it's all gonna be over here on TikTok. And what's MS? I don't know what MS is. MS. What's MS? Oh, you know what? TikTok does a thing where I can't see her lives. I follow her and her lives are not available to me. And I messaged her about it and she can't figure out why either. So I can't see her lives. I don't see them. Yeah. Stink butt. That is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Is today Friday? Yeah, maybe. Maybe I need to unfollow her. All right. Well, we are doing it anyway. Same thing happened with you for me. Weird. That is very weird. All right. I will see you all at Roll for Slime time this evening, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Until then, bye guys.